find you in a better place. Unexpectedly, 'cause you taught me to grieve, and now I'm missing a part of me. life like heaven, 'cause we don't let the bad vibes get in, we don't let them win. Testify to the strength of a true bond, flying high over the heads of a rude mob, staying by the revolution of the whole clock, kill 'em all with love. I don't care if they're talking about us. No, I don't care if they put us down. No, I don't care if the sky falls around us. We're riding on a pink cloud. Oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I don't care. We're riding on a pink cloud. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Our mother is the boom in the baseline. Our father is the backbeat halftime. They say we were born under a bad sign. We say yes, so what? We're the ones who create our own world. Friendly assassins known as pegboard. All glory and praise to the bad Lord. Kill 'em all with love. I don't care if they're talking about us. No, I don't care if they put us down. No, I don't care if the sky falls around us. We're riding on a pink cloud. Oh, oh. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. I don't care. We're riding on a pink cloud. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. We're riding on a pink cloud. I don't care if they're talking about us. No, I don't care if they put us down. I'm here where endless meets the end. Do you see me? I'm hidden here again. Your whispers found its way, calling me to stay. I'm standing at the edge, but something always brings me back. All the voices in my head reminding me of what I have. If I fall tonight, you can bring me back to life. If I fall tonight, you can be my saving light. You can be my saving You can be my saving light. You can be my saving You're here like lightning in my veins. Now they see me, and I'll never be the same. Your whispers found its way, calling me to stay. You can be my saving I'm standing at the edge, but something always brings me back. All the voices in my head reminding me of what I have. If I fall tonight, you can bring me back to life. If I fall tonight, you can be my saving light. 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 It's been too long with too many wrongs. What have I done? You for now it's gone. Take it back, just for one night. Take all the wrongs and pretend that we're alright. Feel the rhythm in our souls, let them entwine. 'Cause you know what you do to me. It's not fair, I don't care. Take you there, make you mine before we're out of time, out of time. Let's synchronize. Let's Don't be so distant, don't be so distant, so distant, distant from me, from you. You're so close, and yet so far. So if I let, and here we are, in each other's arms. Take it back, just for one night. Take all the wrongs and pretend that we're alright. Feel the rhythm in our souls, let them entwine. 'Cause you know what you do to me. It's not fair, I don't care. Take you there, make you mine before we're out of time, out of time. Let's synchronize. Come on, step with me. Let our bodies sing in harmony till the morning.
Hello, 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 welcome. Sorry for the wait on this one. Well, there was a little few technical gremlins that to get over with, but we are live, and we're live from Great Britain, Silverstone track to be precise, for round 3 of this GT3 season. I'm your host, Dan Chan, and I hope you enjoy this broadcast and hopefully enjoy the ride that comes along with it. We had a few scares at the last race in Monza, but luckily we are hopefully moving on from that with a few penalties handed out and a few lessons learned. We are going to be having a 80-minute race here, but first we do have to get qualifying out of the way. And that is just coming right up now. We're in the waiting phase for that one. Practice has just concluded. And it was Philip Samard who topped the timesheets with a 2-minute dead .809. And just a couple tenths back was Tumas with in his Porsche. And then Baz rounding out the top 3 in the Audi, so a good mix at the top 3. But then we do have another few Mercedes coming straight after that in the form of Pete Roll, Tom Basley and Bien Mayor. Luca in the Ferrari not far off them. And then Ada in the sole McLaren, still rocking that one. We saw him at Red Bull Ring, and then he was in a lower split for the Monza race, round 2. Super Yam again, one of the only men on a BMW. He's straight after Ada in P9. Samuel Astolfi up in P10 in another Ferrari. We have quite a few Ferraris actually in the mix. And then we only have 21 cars actually, and the Nissans are going to filter into the back of this grid in the form of Pazzi Malinen, Voffel and Yanni Sari. So hopefully they'll be able to get a bit of better of qualifying going, as we are still just waiting for this qualifying to make its way into the stage where people can actually go out on the track. We're just holding steady for now. Unfortunately, as you may have noticed, Weck isn't here with me, which is why I've been talking so much already. And that's just because he's in the middle of moving, so he wasn't able to join me for today, and no one else felt like joining me, which is a bit of a disappointment, that no one felt like they wanted to come and talk to me, but I'll get over it, I'm sure. Hopefully it won't compromise this broadcast, and I hope you'll enjoy it either way. 30 seconds on the clock until we start to see people rolling out of the pit garages, and just a little roundup of the previous rounds we had. At Monza, in the split one, we had Phillips and Mard winning that one out in the AMG after a couple penalties were dished out, I believe. So that was very impressive after a good battle over at the front between him, Tom Basley, and... oh god, I can't remember who it was now. It was Baz Boomer in the Audi who finished second, I think, or third after the penalties were handed out. But as you hear the roar of the engines, that means we're going live with this qualifying session. 25 minutes of people hammering their cars, trying to put it at the furthest forward on the grid as they possibly can. We'll see how that gets on for the majority of them. Hopefully no scares in this one. Two Master One, who's leading the field out in that Porsche. We ride on board with him now. Do love the sound of the Porsche. However, it's a bit of a different experience to drive than some of the other cars. So we are about to head our way into the Maggots and Beckett's complex now. A lovely sequence of corners. It's a lot of fun in these Porsches. A little bit of instability there for Tumas though, as he is just on the outlap, getting some heat into the tyres. So hopefully he'll be able to string a nice lap together. Do love to see the Porsches doing well, especially after their dominance at the Red Bull Ring in the first round of the series. And he seems to be putting in some decent laps in practice. Second overall after that. We're now just heading into final sequence of corners. And out of club. His way to start this flying lap. Continue to ride on board with him. He is out front of the pack, so he has a nice clean track here as he heads his way through Albion Farm up towards the village now. Lovely sequence of corners again, and maybe a little bit biased, but I do love Silverstone as a track, and he gets a nice wide entrance into that corner, into the loop. As he makes his way onto the Wellington Straight, carrying a good amount of speed through that section. Tumas actually the person to set the fastest Sector 1 so far, 32.487. A couple attempts clear of anyone else's for sectors currently. Baz Boomer the next best with a 32.685. And then Phillips Mard 32.7. So Tumas definitely going pretty quick in the first sector. See if he can carry that momentum through the rest of this lap as he heads now towards Maggots and Beckett. Wants to put a good early lap on the board, as do the rest of the drivers as well. Again, a little bit, I don't want to say shaky through that first entry, but probably not the ideal line. He does get a nice exit out of Chapel. And into the second, well, the last portion of this lap now, and actually quite a little bit slow on the second sector, 54.5, and and that's about 7 tenths, 6, 7 tenths slower than what Philippe Samard has done. 53.8 for Philippe Samard. And again, he's slower than Baz as well in that sector. Maybe lacking a little bit of grunt or stability through those high-speed corners. But we'll see what his final lap time here is. It's 201. No, it is 202.1. And those lap times were very quickly smashed by the following cars. Philippe Samard going fastest, 200.883, and that was pretty much on par with what was done in practice. So not much time lost in that sense. Baz P2, 201.4, so 6 tenths of difference. That's a pretty decent lap from Ada as well, coming in just behind Tumas, 202.3. Let's see what these Nissans can do. They have been struggling so far this weekend, filling out in the back sector of the practice session. Yannis Sari looks like he's... Is he on an out lap? I think he is. Or at least on a build-up lap. So this may not be an absolute representation of the pace. Pazzi Malin and his teammate is on a lap currently. However, it's not the best. 32.9 for sector. It's pretty decent. Baz Boomer 32.7 on his lap currently. 32.7 seeing like the upper. Well, I guess it was Tumas who did a 32.4/5 on his opening lap. But other than that, 32.9 is not too bad. Just depends whether he can string together these last sectors of the lap. Going to be a bit of a struggle in that GTR, but maybe he's got a very good setup. You never know. Definitely got the grunt down the straights. And what has he done for his second sector here? 54.7. Again, it's a few tenths off what's been done at the top of the field. 54.2, the fastest currently. So he's going to struggle to push the car much further up the order currently. A little bit of a snap as well as he comes out of club there. 202.3. Slots right in behind Ada. P11. Pete Roll, I think, on a bit of a warm-up lap here in that AMG. See what he can do. AMG is looking pretty quick. They've actually been looking pretty quick this entire season so far. Always up towards the always up towards the top of the table, should I say? That's Supernova Racing AMG. Philippe Samard and Tom Badsley have definitely been putting in some good times with those AMGs. Pete Roll, not shabby either. He's currently in 4th with 201.5. Ahead of Tom Badsley by just a couple hundredths of a second. Philippe Samard, though, still 4 tenths ahead, and Tumas has actually improved his time to go to a 201.2. Only 4 tenths behind him now compared to the 6 tenths that separated Philippe and Baz Boomer beforehand. And Calamide has improved as well. 202 dead. Enough for 9th position and not far off Samuel Astolfi either. You have to love the sound of the AMG, don't you? It's just it's kind of magnificent, and well, love a bit of that grunt as he tries to handle it around this these tight, complex section of corners. Meanwhile, Blame has improved 202 as well for him. Slots him behind Calamide. P12. On the mediums, though, a few cars are running the mediums. The Porsches, the Audis, and one of the Ferraris are currently running mediums. That's mostly due to heating issues. And a little bit hot, if I am correct. And actually, Team, he's running mediums as well at the moment in that AMG. And that's a little bit interesting. I wouldn't thought there would have been any issues in the AMGs, but maybe his setup's rocking a little bit too much heat on those tyres, I'm not sure. Pete Roller currently 3/10 off the fastest time. So came through the second sector there. 54.2 is not a bad time, that's a very good second sector time. However, the first sector a little bit off, but they are both improvements on his current time. So we'll see if he can link it together now as he heads out of club and onto the home stretch. Using all of the tarmac there. And he does improve ever so slightly. 201.3 now for him. Actually gets it wrong in the first corner, so that won't be another lap straight away for him. He is definitely there, just a 10th behind Tumas. Baz Boomer, just another further 10th behind Pete. And actually, I could go on for a little while longer with this. Tom Basley just a 10th behind Baz as well. And BM Major a 10th behind Tom. So, and actually, Blame a 10th behind BM Major. So it is pretty, well, I don't want to say spaced, but good separation between a lot of the drivers there. Just a 10th between them. Hopefully we'll make for a good start to the race and a good end to the race as well, hopefully. Obviously the mandatory pit stop. Hopefully spice things up a little bit if they do get dull. Baz coming up to the final set of corners. It's a decent lap so far. Good first two sectors, both personal bests for this session. So it's probably going to be an improvement as long as he gets it clean, and it looks like he is out of club there. Good line, and let's see what he can do. He does improve to second position. Only just beating out Tumas by a couple thousandths of a second there. 201.261 for him, and a good lap in general, closing the gap ever so slightly to Philip Samard, under 4/10 now. BM Major as well coming up towards the line just to get through the final sector of corners. Actually, never mind, he's going to pull into the pits. I was a bit premature there. Tom Badsley, currently in P5, will want to improve in his current time, but he's a little ways off on this current lap. 1.3 seconds off the pace. That's a lot slower than his current best time, which is a 201.5. He actually is going to pull into the pits after that one. So I'm just spectating all of the wrong people at the moment. It's all just going wrong. Philip Samard, though, he's coming out of the final sector now to start a lap. So we'll be one to watch. And that Vodafone AMG, currently in P1, can he improve the time any further with this lap as he heads into the first corner? We'll want a smooth start to the lap, and that is just what he does. Nice line through the first couple of corners. A little bit of oversteer there, just needs to correct it slightly as he heads into the loop. Back onto the Wellington straight. AMG unleashing all of its grunt now. As we head down into Brooklands and Luffield. Keeping it nice and tight and then letting the engine rip on the exit there. A little bit of oversteer again. But nicely controlled. It's now up towards Cops here. And then after that it's a Max and Beckett section, which is lovely to drive. Unless you get it wrong. And then you could be in a world of pain, but there is quite a little bit of runoff there nowadays. Just need to be worried about the gravel. It does keep it lovely and tight, using all the curb on the exit. Into the hanger straight. Second sector done, and he's currently half a second down on his personal best, so it doesn't look like he's going to improve on this lap. Maybe just needs to warm up into things. Neither of his sectors were particularly good, and actually he's had enough of this one. Decides it's not worth it. He'll head into the pits. Adam meanwhile into Brooklands. Cool, get in the car very, very sideways. Does catch it, but that's not going to help his lap time. He was 2 tenths down on the fastest lap at that point before he made the error. And it looks like he may have backed off of this lap, and I think he has. Or at least the slide isn't going to help things out for sure. There's only about 8 minutes left of the session now, so drivers are going to need to think about where can they gain a little bit more time if they're not where they want to be on the standings. Samuel Astolfi currently P9. Good for sector means he's only 0.02 off the pace, 0.02 of a second down on Philip Samar's time. So this could be a good jump up the table for him. Maybe not P1. It's definitely going to be a challenger for a time. It was 32.7 in the first sector, so not bad at all. As he heads into Maggots and Beckett's. Doesn't want to push too hard, but does need to improve. Obviously, will want to be improving. Gets it nice and tidy again, using all of the curb on the exit. Onto the hanger straight now. Just 1 sector left. 4 tenths, well, 3.5 tenths down, currently on the fastest time. Bien Major has just set a new blinder of a lap 201.1 in that Mercedes. So he's slotted in between Baz and Philippe Samard. Only less than 3 tenths now separating first from second. Samuel Astolfi going to try and make it even closer here as he exits out of club and onto the main straight now. Can he improve his time, or did he mess up the last sector? We'll see. He does improve his time ever so slightly, goes into 8th. Drops a lot of time in that last sector. Baz Boomer into the last sector now as well. See how he's doing. He's currently, well, he had a good second sector. First sector a little bit off the pace, but definitely recoverable. And now can he move into second maybe? He does indeed. 2.5 tenths off Philip Samard, but that gap just keeps chiseling its way down ever so slightly. 201.1 for Baz. See if anyone else can try and jump over these drives and maybe close up to Philip Samard ever so slightly again. control on his outlap currently. Pisani though in the Z4, he's quite far down on the pace. I'm not sure he's going to be able to challenge on this lap. Major as well, 1.5 seconds down. Nobody currently on a blind of the lap apart from Lukshan Prachnika. He's actually set a first sector that is quicker than Philippe Samard, so it's almost a 10th as well, so this could be a good lap for him, as long as he manages to string the next couple sectors together, but Ferrari probably at a disadvantage as we head through the next portion of the lap. Look, Ferrari definitely better in those tight corners from the first sector. Not using too much exit there. Out of cops, just trying to keep it tidy. Philippe Samard has improved his time by just almost 2/10 actually. 1.8. So that's made things even more difficult, and Lukshan has lost a lot of time in that second sector, means he's now almost a second down on the fastest time. Tom Basley just behind him though on the track. He is again 1.1 seconds down, so people really struggling to try and improve the times currently. Blames on his outlap. See what others are doing. Nobody really setting quick sectors at the current. Pete Roll's just gone through the first sector and a 32.6 for him. He might be worth the watch. As he heads into Luffield now. Keeping the AMG tight again. Getting a nice exit. Maximise all of the speed. Calamie does improve ever so slightly. Goes into 10th. Pete Roll probably the one to watch currently. Might be able to jump up the order a little bit, but I don't think he'll be able to challenge Philippe Samard unless he sets some sort of blinding second and third sector here. It's very nice and tight. Just a little wiggle there, but I'm not sure that'll cost him any time. 3/10 down. Currently might be able to sneak into second still if he has a nice final sector. A little bit squirrely under the brakes there actually. Collects it pretty quickly. Now into the final complex of corners. Might just be able to move up the order a little bit. Currently in P5. Can't improve on his position, still P5. So everyone just, I think everyone's sort of reached the peak currently, struggling to improve on their laps. Tumas might be able to here. He did set a nice, well, I was about to say he set a nice first sector. It was okay. It was actually a second slower than Pete Roll's first sector. And now less than 2 minutes on the clock means that everyone's going to have to try and make a last ditch effort to make it as far up the order as they can. I'm not sure that's going to happen for a few of these people. A few people struggling very hard to make an impact. Tumas, I think, setting up for a new lap here. Yes, it was a very slow lap, but I think he's set up for this one. Got as good of an exit as he could out of the final corner, and he might be the one to bring the charge to Philippe Samard, but he needs to find a bit more time. Struggled to improve on his early benchmarks. 201.286 is what he's currently sat at P4. See what his first sector time is. Whether he's on with a shout. It is a decent sector time, a second quicker than his last one. However, not any personal improvement, and 0.06 of a second down on Philippe Samard's time. So he may be in with a chance if he can find something in these last two sectors, but I don't think it's likely, and nobody else really improved on the times. Everybody's reached their peak, and it's just about trying to string together the best sectors possible from what you've managed so far. And Samuel Astolfi, moving up the order a little bit, gets into P9, and Oversteer, he's jumped up the order. He's come out of nowhere. He's 201.2, and he's moved into 4th, pushing Tumas down. And Baz does improve as well. Drops it into the 2 minute, well, drops it below 2 minutes 1 second. A couple tenths off Philippe Samard's time still. I don't think he'll have a chance to get another lap in, but let's see what Tumas can do. No quicker on the second sector. Bien Major, though, he might be able to improve. He set a decent second sector, and he's just behind Tumas there on the track in that AMG. Probably from the slipstream, he's managed to gain a little bit of time down those straights, but it won't be helping him too much through the corners. It just clips that inside curb there. So we'll see what these two drivers are able to do. Tumas, unable to improve. Bien Major, unable to improve as well. They'll stay where they are. Baz Boomer actually did manage to get a through before the line, well, before the checkered flag dropped, so he might be able to sneak in another lap as long as his tyres aren't too overburdened. Adder, P9 now, 201.5, as people are somehow finding some final form here. Oversteer, he's already... well, actually, he's on another lap now. 32.6 first sector. That's good. That's his personal best. It's a bit of a slow second sector, though, and Baz, he's not improved in either of his first sectors. He's a 10th down currently on Philippe Samard. He might need to bring something out of the hat in this final sector, which is where he's lost most of the time to Philippe Samard so far. But he's the closest currently, and in with the best chance in that Audi to dethrone the AMG and take that top spot for the race. Can he do it as he comes out of Club Pete Roll? Meanwhile, has improved P5, pushing Tumas down another spot. What can Baz do? He can't go any faster, and that's the end of qualifying. So, we'll take a look at the qualifying results now. So, in the end, it will be Philippe Samard holding on to that first spot. Baz Boomer coming in just behind in second position. And then we have Bien Major and Oversteer taking the next row. Pete Roll, Tumas, P5 and P6, and Luca and Tom Basley rounding out the top 8. Adder, P9 in that McLaren, Samuel Astolfi in the Ferrari, and P10 just behind him, Matteo Pisani and team. And then Calamide and Blame, 13th and 14th. Lukajan Proshnika and Rob Lewis rounding out the top 16. Voffel and Supiam in the in the GTR and the BMW respectively, and Pazzi Malinan and Glubshinsky next, 19th and 20th. Oscar Pink in the AMG, and Yanni Sari rounding out the grid, 202.581 the last time. And that will be the grid for the race, as now we just wait for the countdown till the cars head to the grid, and we have another countdown after that. So hopefully we're going to have a lovely start here, lovely race, and a nice treat for your Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon, wherever you are. So we now just have about just over a minute until we do head into the race. Going to be a lot of trouble for Baz here. He's basically swamped by the AMGs. He's in P2, an AMG in front of him, 3 more AMGs behind him, and then the next different car, and that's Tumas in P6. AMG's taking 5 of the top 10 spots. That's kind of impressive. That's going to cause a lot of discussion, I feel like. For good or bad, I don't know. But we'll see what happens in the race, whether they can keep up that pace, or if the other cars maybe have a trick or two up their sleeves. That McLaren in P9 is going to be a one to watch, easily spottable in that nice yellow livery, driven by Ada. He's basically flying the flag for the British outfit there. A couple of Ferraris in the top 10 as well, in the form of Luca and Samuel Astolfi. Excuse me. And then, obviously, even more AMGs now, as the cars do head to the grid. We do have some more Ferraris, another Audi as well. Another couple of Audis actually on the grid. The Z4s 11th and 18th. And Nismos, I'm glad they're not dead last in this split. It's good to see Voffel there in 17th. Has a bit of company. And Pazzi Malin only a couple places behind. Hopefully should be some good battles between them. So hopefully all will be good. And we'll have some great racing to feast our eyes on. Vulcan Gamer, how do you join this league? You head to the link in the description. To sign up for ACRL, visit that Reddit link there, www.reddit.com/r/ACRL, and sign up there. There's a banner on the right side I think you click on, which says like sign up for the GT3 league or something. Or you can, if you prefer, you can go to our Discord channel, which is linked just underneath. Ask people there to help you through it. There's plenty of lovely people, but I don't expect much of a response while this race is going on, because most people are occupied with this. So a response probably won't happen until after this race, or maybe tomorrow, if you do ask there, because people obviously want to get on with stuff, and hopefully we'll have the race going live in a moment. 15 seconds, the lights are on. And hopefully they'll be going out momentarily now. 5, 6 lights. And away we go. Can Philip hold on to the lead here as he head towards the first corner? He has Baz on the inside. And Baz looks like he's going to be able to take the lead now. He does. He snatches the lead from the AMG in the first corner. Tumas, he gets knocked out wide into the gravel. I think that was one of the AMGs roughhousing him through the first corner. Baz does secure the lead for the first sector, and the rest of the drivers seem to be making things through the first set of corners cleanly. Just Tumas the only casualty by the looks of it, and Ada made a lot of ground in that first in the first lap so far, from P9 to P5, and oh, there's a bit of sideways action in the background as I struggle to find the correct cameras. Oh, there's Tumas. He's flying through the final, well, for the first corners, and he might be able to gain a position on that Audi and the AMG. Sorry, that was sliding about, and I messed up all the camera action there and missed everything. Sorry, it's impossible to do 7 different things at once, but we are through Luffield now. Bit of a battle here between the Audi drivers. And in front of them, actually, Samuel Astolfi alongside the AMG of Tom Basley. Can he get around the outside? No, he will back off. Smart move. It's early in the race. Another 1 hour and 18 minutes to go. Does have a big AMG sticker in front of him, though. And he's not going to be able to find much through the next sequence of corners, as everyone begins to filter through, and there's still side-by-side action between the Audis there. Seems like everyone is calming down a little bit, but still a bit of a battle here. Calamide on the inside of Blame. Can he make it stick? Not sure if he can. Blame just holding the outside line in that black carbon fiber Ferrari. Calamide going to try and sniff somewhere else. Blame taking a nice defensive line, but has the other Audi of Lubchinski ahead of him. Baz Boomer sets the fastest lap on the first lap, obviously. The first man to cross the line. Yeah, P1 does start on the outside. It is a difficulty, and sometimes you are better starting on the inside, and it is a sort of a struggle if you're on the P1. And oh, contact between Blame and Glubchinski. Blame going for the inside line there. He Vamossed that one, and oh no, that's Glubchinski, who's not going to be very happy there. Blame completely spinning him around, and Glubchinski making his way back onto the track now, down in 21st position, now behind Tumas and the spinning AMG of team. Calamid, though, he is now aggressive on towards Nissan of Pazzi Malina, having dropped a couple of places in that kerfuffle. I'm going to try and regain a little bit of ground. Up at the front is Philip Samard, still holding about a half a second gap towards Baz Boomer ahead of him. A good battle here as well between Bien Major and Matteo Pisani. Ada taken a bit of a shortcut there. I thought someone had gone wide because I saw a couple of positions jump up, and that's Ada now dropping down the order. He was in a nice P5. Unfortunately, he's dropped back down to P10, missing behind where he started. Major having to defend from Matteo Pisani now. Small Z4 has done very well at the start of this race as well, jumping 5 positions. He's making it to P6, and now he's looking for a little bit more. He's sticking with this bulky AMG, and Matteo just taking a little bit of grass there on the exit of the first corner. Taking a much tighter line as well to try and pound these AMG into the complex of corners. And out of the loop and towards the Wellington straight now. The Z4 is really sticking to the bumper of this AMG currently, only on the third lap now. Third lap, I'm losing, no, second lap, I'm losing my mind. Already some good battles happening, and hopefully they'll continue throughout the race. I do love a good battle myself, as long as it doesn't end in disaster. Seems like we have a good battle here as well between a few drivers towards the back of the pack. Oscar Pink and Voffel embroiled in this big kerfuffle. It looks like Voffel's actually going to try and just make Oscar Pink aware he's there, and Oscar Pink actually going a little bit wide into the entrance of Magnus and Beckett's. Tumas just behind them, looking to try and salvage a bit from this race. He has the pace, obviously, qualified in the P6, I think. So definitely has the pace on these guys, but does need to make the pass, and it's a question of how much damage he has as well, because it was contact that caused him to spin off in the first corner, so it depends how much contact there was. Thoffel, though, still hounding this AMG a little bit. Philip Samard has set the fastest lap, and only just though, and will hopefully try and close in on Baz Boomer a little bit. Make this an interesting race, and Voffel's got a great run down the hanger straight, sorry, through the main straight here, and he's gone around the outside of Oscar Pink, and Tumas follows him as well. Oscar Pink getting out of shape there, out of club, and he's getting, might even lose position to Supiam as well. But he does hold the inside line heading into Village. Voffel, Tumas definitely going to be grinning from ear to ear with that one. An easy position made up for both of them. Oscar Pink just losing it a little bit. Hands it to them. Yannis Sari going wide there. Will rejoin a little bit squirrely as he heads onto the track and just slots in between the AMG and the Audi behind him. Could have been a bit dangerous if there was a car there, but there wasn't, so we'll brush over that one and blame right on the tailpipe of this lone McLaren now. Going to have a look into the inside towards Cops. Nothing there for him just yet. Has already made contact with Glubshinski, so he doesn't want to do that again. If not just for the damage it might cause himself. Front split probably already a little bit worse for wear after that one. And we do have a retirement. Lukshan Prishnika dropping out of the race early on. That's unfortunate. We're now down to just the 21 cars. Blame still wants to try and make his way into the top 10. Philippe Samard sets another fastest lap. Shaving a couple tenths off of Baz Boomer means it's a gap of just under 4 tenths now as they crossed the line. Blame struggling to keep with Ada by the look of things. Would love to see that McLaren doing well. Just ahead of them, Samuel Astolfi on the back of this little train. Has Tom Basley and Luca in front of him. The AMG and the Ferrari respectively. So a few battles kicking off around the field still. A treat for the eyes. This AMG actually has Ferraris either side of him. Tumas as well, just trying to... Well, actually, Tumas has actually made it past Voffel in the meantime towards the back of the pack and is now hounding the other GTR of Pazin Malinen. This could be a good fight to see. As they head towards Maggots and Beckett's now, and they both end up running very wide there. Tumas sure he's not going to go around the outside. No, he's not. He values his life. And he will slot in behind the GTR as he heads through the Maggots and Beckett's complex. But he does get a lovely, nice, tight line through and a good run out the corner using all the curbs. Right under the rear wing of that GTR. He almost disappears behind the GTR as he head down the straight. Pulls out into the corner and gets the inside line and gets it done. As long as he can keep it within the white lines on the exit, and he will do that, and that's another position secured for Tumas. P14 for him now. Govshinsky and Yannis Sari as well having a nice little battle towards the outer rim of this pack. Govshinsky just behind him in the Audi, recovering from that earlier contact with Blame. Looking right under the rear wing of this GTR and could have maybe thought about going towards the inside in towards the first corner, but decides against it and will stay behind him for now. See if he can make his way through past him as the GTR takes a load of that sausage curb there. Was settling the car just a little bit. Lushinsky taking a very deep line there to try and get a lovely exit out of the corner. It works out for him. Yannis Sari just running a little bit wide. Decides better to fight too hard. And that's Lushinsky gaining that position. And meanwhile, Calamide is also fighting against Rob Lewis here, the other Audi. Has the inside line as they head towards Copson. This could be tears. But Rob Lewis, being very smart, just backs off a little bit and allows Calamide to head on through. Tumas is actually going to be joining that pack pretty soon. say pack, he'll be trying to grab onto the back of Rob Lewis's AMG and work his way up the field a little bit further. Well, there's a big battle here between a lot of AMGs and GTRs and one sole Z4. And it's the Z4 of Supiam going up the inside of Oscar Lewis and outbreaks himself, clipping. I think that was that Team? I think that was Team, wasn't it? Maybe? No, Pazzi Malinan. I think it was either it was yeah, I think it was Team. No, I'm dumb. It was Pazzi Malinan. And off goes the Z4 as well. Supiam disconnecting from the server. That's another retirement. And I'm not liking this racing so far. We've had some good racing, but a couple misjudgments as well. That was one of them. The one from Blame earlier as well. I mean, I didn't get the greatest view of the one from Blame, so I can't comment too much on that. But just contact in general. And then obviously the one with Tumas at the start of the race towards the first corner. So like people just very aggressive. We've still got more than an hour left of this race. And apparently the pit opens in 1.5 minutes. Well, Supiam just looked like he outbraked himself as he headed up the inside of Oscar and tipped Pazzi Malinan as they turned in for the final set of corners. Adder embroiled in a battle here with Samuel Astolfi. Has pulled away from Blame a little bit as well. Which means that Adder can focus on trying to attack the red Ferrari ahead of him rather than having to defend from Blame. Sits behind him for now. A nice line through the set of corners here. He heads towards Club now. Gets a little bit oversteer, but still on the back of him. Still trying to chase him down as they head through the first corner now. Adder using every inch of the track. Right on the back, but uses a little bit too much there. Gets a bit of understeer and can't keep the car fully on the grass, sorry, fully on the tarmac. But he's staying right with Samuel Astolfi, right under the rear wing of this red Italian prancing horse. Might be able to get a nice slipstream here as they head towards Brooklands, down the Wellington Straight. Just having a little bit of a sniff, letting Samuel know that he's still there. He gets a nice tight line through Lovefield. Samuel just closing the door there, ever so tight. And this is allowing Blame to catch up just a little bit, this little section of a battle. Adder still right with him through Maggots and Beckett's now. Just a couple attempts separating them, and it's going to be Blame catching them pretty quickly now. Only, well, just about a second behind. He said if Adder doesn't get this move done quickly, it might be a bit of defensive action needed from the Brit. Right with him again, but he just can't get close enough to manage to put his car down the inside. That's going to be probably another lap sitting behind this Ferrari, and another lap that Blame is going to be able to close in ever so slightly. Philippe Samard not able to close up to Baz Boomer too much. Still sitting about half a second to a second behind Baz. Using a nice line there to try and get a good exit onto the Wellington Straight, but perhaps a little bit too compromised, and he ends up a little further behind than he had hoped for. But oh, he closes up massively under braking there. Perhaps that braked himself a little bit. To try and close the gap, but all's fine. No contact. It's like nothing ever happened. Tumas as well on the back of Rob Lewis. Going to try and make up another position here. So you're going to head towards Magnus Beckett's now. So chances for overtakes not massive, especially when you're a few tenths behind the car in front. See Tumas's Porsche just getting a little bit wider than the AMG coming out of Beckett's and into Chapel. Lipping the grass a slight bit. Tumas seems to be better on the brakes. Just closing up slightly as they head towards Club now. Another lap will tick by for these drivers. And Ada very close to Samuel Astolfi now, side by side through the loop. Ada's going to try and cut back. Has Blame closing on his bumper as well. Oh, this is probably the closest he's been down the Wellington Straight. Samuel Astolfi having to defend to the inside now. And Ada will pull out. Samuel Astolfi going to close down the gap a little bit, but Ada around the outside, can he make it stick? No, he can't. He goes onto the grass, he's sliding, and that's probably going to allow Blame through. It does. Ada just outbrakes himself ever so slightly there to try and make the pass stick. And that will cost him a position. He drops now down to 11th. Blame taking that last spot in the top 10, but Tumas, he'll be soon approaching as well. He'll want to recover something from this race. Currently P13 is all over the back of Rob Lewis in P12. I think it's inevitable that Tumas will make it past in the coming laps, and we'll stick with it for now, as the gaps are starting to build up between drivers. Calamide has also dropped out of the race. I didn't see any issues that he was having. Baz still out front, leading the pack. 10 laps completed, and we're now under an hour left on the race. Pit window is open for another 45 minutes. Well, 44 minutes, I guess, I should probably say, to be a bit more precise. Tumas still got a lot of time to make up these positions. Luckily, it's one of the longer races on this season's calendar, which will conclude it with Bathurst. It's race 8. I think that's a 90-minute race, and that will be a hell of a lot of fun. At least for me. And Tumas down the inside now of Rob Lewis. Can he make it stick into Brooklands? A little bit closer, and I thought there might have been contact, but Rob Lewis just evades it in time, and Tumas will make it past. Down the inside, and he's ahead before Luffield. Now we head towards Cops. And was that a bit of a drift from Rob Lewis there out of Luffield? I think it was, but that will be the pass done now. Tumas gonna chase down Ada. Not far behind, 1 second, and Blame as well. Not far behind Samuel Astolfi up in front, as you see a little bit of puff of smoke from Blame as he clips the grass before the entrance curb. 2 maggots. lovely sequence of corners, and Tumas making up the ground quickly. As Tumas will want to get this pass done on Ada quick, so that he doesn't have Rob Lewis entering back into the mix. They want to keep that sort of, well, but I think by the time he makes it to the back of Ada, it'll probably be about a 2-second gap. And oh, Samuel Astolfi's gone off the track. Was that contact with Blame, or was that just a spin of his own doing? I think it was just on the side of the camera there that I missed. And Ada now side by side with Blame as he ends up being slow. And is now into the first corner. Ada on the inside. Blame will hold the position. Ada blacks off slightly, and Tumas right under the rear wing now of Ada. This freeway battle is breaking into fire, and Ada around trying to go around the outside of Blame, but that will cost him, and Tumas gonna sneak on the, well, alongside Ada and has the outside for the loop. Tumas probably going to get a better exit here, and he will onto the Wellington straight, and that's another position for Tumas, and actually 2 positions for Tumas now as he's up into P10 as Samuel Astolfi did go off, and you see him coming onto the Wellington straight in the background there, and Tumas already taking Blame on in towards Brooklands. Is that going to be another position for Tumas? It looks like it will be, but Blame holding his line, has the inside for Luffield, and Tumas still going to try and hold it. He has the outside, and he has a better exit down towards Cops. Blame's still there, though, and who's going to win out in this battle? It looks like it's going to be Tumas's. Blame will slot in behind Tumas as the head now towards Cops, and all the action kicking off there for a moment. But now Ada has a different threat behind him. Instead of Tumas, it's now Rob Lewis, who's been able to catch up into this one. And Ada going very wide means Rob Lewis is right behind him. Just having to take a bit of avoiding action there, I think. Just as Ada got a bit out of shape. Blame's still right on the back of Tumas there. You see just up in front that black Ferrari. Tumas going a little bit wider than Blame out of that corner. Blame losing a bit of ground there as he messes up the braking spot just a little bit. Ada right on his behind. Might be able to make a pass here towards Cops, but himself getting out of shape through Club. Means that Rob Lewis is now on the attack on him. This battle just keeps ebbing and flowing, and I don't know who's going to come out on top apart from Tumas. He's now making hay. I'm going to try and chase down Tom Basley for P8. This now is a freeway battle. Samuel Astolfi's not out of it yet, though. He's only a few seconds behind. And if this battle keeps going any longer, we could be there within a few laps if it starts to kick off a little bit more. Baz Boomer still holding the lead. Has built a bit of a gap towards Philip Samard now. 1.5 seconds. It looks like that Audi has a good amount of race pace compared to the AMG. And Ada right behind Blame now. He's going to have a look into Maggots. He's in the inside and just backs off in time. That was looking very sketchy indeed. Blame completely cutting across Ada there and just decides that it's not worth it towards back in towards Maggots. It's not worth ruining your race, or possibly even both of your races. Full positioning. Now he's got a bit of a slipstream down the Hanger Straight. Can he make this move here instead? He has the inside, just enough space for him to slot inside. It's so close, and Ada not able to keep the momentum going. Blame carries it through the outside line, and he's going to try and cut back, get a bit of momentum going for him as he head towards Club now and the start-finish line. And Ada again, just pushing that car so heavily, gets a little out of shape, but he is still trailing Blame. And he is still trying to fight for that position. He gets a nice run towards Village. snaps back to the outside line and carries a lot of speed through the corner. Still keeping it within the white lines, and Rob Lewis now right behind them both as well. Ada has the position, but Blame has the cutback. And Blame has the inside line as they head onto the Wellington straight. Can he hold it? Ada certainly holding the outside, but I don't think he has the speed to counter that Ferrari. Still side by side as he head towards Brooklands. Blame just going to be able to fight back for that position. Rob Lewis sniffing around as well. As Ada tries a bit of a cutback again in towards Lovefield. Right behind the Ferrari, but the Ferrari keeps it tight, doesn't allow Ada the chance to make his way through. Oh, I'm loving this right now. Oversteer has indeed pitted, yeah, switches to the mediums from those softs. Maybe the softs not working out for him, but Ada carrying, I thought he was going to carry so much speed through the cops, and he has to back out here a little bit. Still, this is just great though. Nose to tail racing, Ada a little bit wide in towards the Maggots and Beckett's complex now, and Rob Lewis just biding his time just behind them, trying to snap at any opportunity he can. Forward position, but he's not going to try and force it. Ada's looking like he does have the pace to try and make a move on Blame here, but he just keeps taking a little bit too much speed through his corners, and that's going to allow Rob Lewis to close up, and Ada's going to break for the pits. Maybe his tyres are done. And that's the McLaren heading into the pits. Team trying to find a way past Voffel as well. Has Oscar Pink behind him. Just a couple tenths difference as they cross the line. Matteo Pizzani also into the pits in his Z4 alongside Ada, and it looks like Team has a lot of pace here. Just behind Voffel. Ooh, it looked like there might have been contact there, but Team just getting the car slowed down in time, avoids the GTRs behind. There's a lot of nice battling going on now. As I said earlier, I wasn't enjoying the initial stage of the race. It was quite clumsy, to say the least, but I feel like everyone's now realising that they do have more than 10 minutes to win this racing. Yes, obviously at the start it is sometimes easier to gain positions, but not if you end up spinning yourself out, spinning others out. That's just going to slap you with a lot of penalties, and I do not like penalties. You know what I do like though? I do really enjoy Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I was having some earlier, it was just like, just delicious. Did anyone watch the Mons 24-hour race? It was a bit interesting, wasn't it? I tucked in for the night, put on the WEC, got a plate of chips, some custard creams, and some a bottle of Fanta. And I had a lovely little night there watching it. Dozed off for a couple of hours, but I'll let myself off. Team still trying to find a way past this AM versus GTR, and the AMG goes very slidey there. Yeah, but I do think the softs are done for quite a few of the drivers now. I think it is going to be a case of switching onto the mediums for the last stages, well, for the rest of this race. Just under 50 minutes left of it. I don't think you can make that time on a set of the softs, but Team is finding a way past Voff there. Don't know how he kept the car under control, but he does. And he has the position, but Voffel fighting back. Well, he's going to try to, has a lot of speed as he head towards Brooklands, but not enough to get up the inside. Or actually, never mind, Voffel's lost control of the car a little bit, slides and takes a detour across the track. But it is going to be Team holding the position, and Voffel loses out a couple of positions there to Oscar Pink and Glubczynski. Fortunate for him. Now there's a nice little freeway battle here. Lushinsky just behind Oscar Pink now. AMG getting a good exit there out of Chapel. It's going to be under threat now from Voffel in the GTR. The red stripe might be smeared with Lushinsky's blood soon, but it is kept clean through. Looks like Voffel not going to be able to get the better of him just yet. Softs are dying faster than F1 tyres. Yeah, I guess so. Seeing a couple early stops. I feel like Ada did switch tyres, but it's not showing it on the graphic on the left. So that's one to bear in mind, considering he didn't jump Pisani in the stops. I assume he did take tyres as well. Probably put another set of, well, probably put mediums on. Tumas side by side with Tom Basley as they head towards Cops. I just suddenly noticed this battle breaking off in my my second monitor there. Not going to be able to find a way past just yet, but this is now Tumas fighting for P6. He's made a lot of positions up already, just one down on where he started currently. He's right on the back of Tom's AMG. And he gets a good exit as well. Gets into the slipstream and this might be done and before the braking zone. But as he pulls out, it's like he's hitting a brick wall. Can't try and find the momentum pass, but he does. And Tom Basley backs out of it. And another position for Tumas now. Back into where he started. Pete Roll into the pits. Those tyres are probably done. So that's going to be another position for Tumas to pick up. Bas Boomer now has a 5-second gap to Philippe Samard, and Bas is currently on the medium tyres, Philippe Samard on the softs. So I think those softs are just like, they're at the last legs, they're just losing so much time compared to what the mediums are running on. If we check the previous laps, Bas Boomer 1.5 seconds quicker than Philippe Samard. So I don't know if Philippe Samard had an issue or if that is just the respected time for what the softs are able to do now. But that's scary if that's actual drop off in just lap time for the softs. Bas Boomer very lonely up at the front here. Philippe Samard way off in the back there. Bas Boomer has such a clear track ahead of him. Probably helps to keep those tyres cool as well. Keeps them going. We'll see when Philippe Samard decides to pit. I assume he's probably going to pit sort of soonish. He might be trying to extend the stint on these softs to try and make it just a one stop onto another set of softs. And we are sort of approaching halfway through the race now. Just over, well, just under 45 minutes left. And when we do reach 40 minutes left, that will be half of the race done. An hour and 20 for the race, and the softs probably get pounded in the first laps more than you do for the rest of the stint. They've got Skinsky still on the back of Oscar Pink here. Unable to make a move just yet. Oversteer has switched on to the mediums as well. Tom Basley into the pits. Samuel Stolfi into the pits as well. And I feel like we're going to enter a period here where there is a lot of pit stops. Probably switching on to mediums for the most part for people. It's a brave man for whoever switches onto the softs, I'll tell you that. Unless you somehow make it to half an hour left, probably. Maybe 35 minutes left, you can probably manage as a stint on a new set of softs without losing too much time in grip, but Shinsuke still just tailing the AMG. Seems like he's unable to sort of close up anywhere. They're just so evenly paced. Closest two cars on the track currently as well. So this is where we need to stay, as Shinsuke right under the rear wing. But gets a little bit too deep into the entrance to Luffield. Said he can't do anything with it and will just remain behind as they head towards Cops. Team just ahead of them on the mediums. Actually, Glupshinsky and Oscar as well on the mediums. Yeah, Glupshinsky just seems like he's unable to get close enough as he head towards these braking zones. He's just, yeah, just struggling to find any sort of advantage in a position where he can actually make use of it. Actually, Bien Major into the pits as well. Actually, should I call him Good Major, do you reckon? Do you reckon that's I mean, that's sort of what, I don't know. Bien Major? Bien Major? I don't know. What are the other? If he has an issue with it, you can DM me. God. People who have silly names and then complain when you pronounce them wrong are the worst kind of people. I'm not saying Bien Major is a silly name. I'm just thinking in general with like, generally in like CSGO actually, when I cast that. Yet people have names like XX, Triple Sniper 360 to the max, Awesome Dude 64. It's just like, what the hell should I say for that? And they say, oh yeah, it's like, you're supposed to pronounce it Dave. It's like, right, okay. Okay, that doesn't make sense, so does it? Or you end up like just pronouncing a certain part of someone's name because it's so long. And they say, why aren't you saying my full name? Because I can't be saying 360 quickscope on up the ladder, wall bang, fakey every time you plant the bomb. It's just not possible, is it? There's a lot of well, I was going to say a lot of non-battles. I guess that's just lack of battles currently on in the field. As the pit stops cycle through, and the top three into the pits as well. Baz, Philip, and Luca as well in the pits, and we'll see who comes out on top in this one. Philip Samard already rolling away. Actually, no, sorry. I lost my will there. I thought Philip Samard had gotten away before Baz Boomer, but it is him just coming into his box, and that is Tumas taking the momentary lead at lap 20 on the medium tyres, outlasting the softs. And it's going to be Baz Boomer coming out of the pits ahead of the two cars following him, and that will be a theoretical first place still. A couple of cars ahead of him to make their pit stops. Philip Samard coming out in a battle now with Oversteer and Voffel right in between them. So that is going to hold them up a little bit. He would have preferred to have got out just in front of Voffel. It would have given him a bit of open air to try and close down on towards Baz Boomer. But he's actually under attack from Oversteer now, who who has pitted as well and is onto the mediums. Philip Samard actually taking another set of the softs. 38 minutes on the softs. I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to make those last. He was losing quite a lot of time in the final in the final laps on those tyres. And Oversteer has definitely got his mediums working pretty quickly. He's actually made it past Voffel there, Philippe has, and Oversteer not far behind, but he's having to go very wide. As Voffel is fighting for position here, but hasn't made a pit stop yet, so maybe those tyres are just so far gone that it's a struggle to just put up a fight for this one. Yeah, Oversteer has made a very good stint on those medium tyres so far. Able to close up to Philip Samard quite massively compared to the sort of gaps beforehand. Tumas into the pits along with Rob Lewis means that Baz Boomer back into the lead of the race team. Second place also yet to pit, and Oscar Pink as well yet to pit. So Philip Samard and Oversteer going to be your P2 and P3 once the two cars ahead have made their stops. Tumas pits and comes out in P10 just behind Pisani, who has also made a stop. And it's probably best not to look at the graphics on the left for the tyres, because it doesn't always work the best. So I might just turn it off actually. Yeah, I'll just turn it off. Otherwise it's going to get confusing, I feel like, unless we need to know a specific piece of information. Best just to have it off. Tumas right behind Pisani. Going to try and I've clicked the wrong person. I was wondering what happened there. I'm just a fat-fingered dude. Tumas is a pretty quick dude right now, and he is on the back of Pisani. Not going to have a chance to get past here into Magnus and Beckett, so he does close up a little bit more. Taking slightly different lines there, which is interesting. Tumas taking hardly any curb compared to Pisani on the right-handed entrance there. A lot more sort of curb on the exit as well. Oscar Pink into the pits. Team now. Only one of the front runners, I think, who's still needs to make a stop. Tumas outbraking himself ever so slightly there. Loses a bit of time. Time is important in a race. Very important indeed. He's staying with him for now. As he head through the first sector of the lap. Not many chances for overtaking, unless you manage to get pretty close and make some work in the braking zone. He's always right behind him now. Heading down the Wellington Straight, he pulls out, and it's alongside as he head towards Brooklands. It might be the move done for Tumas. Not sure Pisani can fight much, but he tries a little bit. But he gives him plenty of space, and that is Tumas going through as he heading towards Luffield, and should be able to keep the position. But Pisani trying a bit of a different line there to try and cut back on towards Tumas, but it's not enough. And Tumas will hold on to the lead as he head now towards. Sorry, I say the lead. Hold on to the position as he head towards Cops. Well, Oscar Pink has come out in a battle with Dushinsky. Blame is fighting Rob Lewis as well. believe everyone bar team has made a pit, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, Blame closing up a quite a lot in that braking zone there. I think Rob Lewis got a little bit out of sorts, I think. Something else caught my eye, but Blame is definitely getting very close into the braking zones. He needs to be careful not to outdo himself just a little bit. A couple of different lines as well through club there. Rob Lewis taking a much shallower line, while Blame takes a more direct approach. Not sure if Blame has the pace to try and close up. He seems to be getting very close into braking, but it seems like he might be outdoing himself in the braking zone a little bit, going a bit too deep, costing him time on the exits, although he's making it up on the entrance. He's just losing it all on the exits. He sits about half a second behind the AMG. Baz Boomer has about 9 seconds of a lead towards Philip Simard. I mean, obviously team is between them. But he is yet to make a pit stop, if I am correct. 16 minutes still to do that. So no rush for team. I think he started on the mediums. Yes, he did. So he's going quite long into this race. Unless actually, I wonder if he did stop. Has the team stopped? Because I don't know. But Philip Simard is going to be making the approach to him pretty sharpish now. Vodafone AMG coming up against the Supernova one. Not actually endorsed by Vodafone. Well, they're oh so close, and this might be a good tantalising battle, but I'm not sure if team hasn't stopped yet, which I don't think he has. I would be very surprised if he had pitted and came out this far ahead. I'm like 99.9% sure team hasn't pitted, especially considering those tyres are probably destroyed by this point. The mediums, well, maybe, I don't know actually. The mediums might just still be holding on for at this point, but definitely they've done 50 minutes. So they're not going to be the best if that is the case. Philip Simard probably making this pass ever so soon. Team getting quite wide into the corner, and Philippe closing up. Has to take a bit of evasive action there just to make sure he doesn't nudge the back of that other AMG. So they are still just nose to tail. Do love that Vodafone livery. It is very nice, actually. I'm sure team isn't thinking that right now as he sees it in his rearview mirror, but he'll try and hold on as best he can. Right on board with Philip now. Might just make the pass here. Pulls out of the slipstream as he head up the hill, and he has the outside line. Can he make it stick? I don't know if he can. I think team is going to have a better run out of the corner. And actually team breaks off into the pit, giving Philip second position now. An oversteer into third. That was a little further back though. Luca a little bit close to Pete Roll, and it has Tumas behind him as well. Tumas still on the charge in P7. He's had a great race apart from the initial contact in the first corner. Been making a lot of nice passes. has made his pit stop as well. So now it's all about getting these positions, fighting hard once more. One more position, he's back to where he started. I'm sure we want a bit more than that though. There's Luca. Oh, sorry, there's Luca. Sniffs the inside line a tad there. Decides he doesn't want it. And instead tries up towards Lovefield, and that was ambitious. And that was almost catastrophic. Oh, my heart almost jumped out of my skin. And Luca, he has got a little bit squirrely towards the exit of Lovefield as well. Now there's Tumas approaching him on towards the entrance to Cops. And they're side by side, and Tumas probably going to make it through here, but Luca is holding the position. Tumas gonna have a tough chance to make it around the outside. He doesn't decide to do that, and instead Luca, Luca, he slides across the track ever so slightly. Well, ever so slightly, he does slide across the track and almost collects Tumas there, but a good bit of evading action, just slowing the car down enough to stop that from happening. And meanwhile, into the same section of corners team, right on the back of Samuel Astolfi after coming out of the pits, the AMG driver. Yeah, Tumas just forcing that bit of an error from Luca, forced him to take a less than ideal line into Maggots and Beckett's, even though he wasn't actually going to try and force a position. Luckily, Luca kept the car, well, got the car slowed down before he slid across another so that he didn't slide across the grass and onto the next section of tarmac is what I'm trying to say. But I'm just not very good with my words right now. Hope you can forgive me. Tumas does have P6. You know, I think he'll be okay with that. He's had a really good race and might even find more. Only a couple seconds behind Pete Roll, and then only a couple seconds to BM Muir. Means that Tumas might be able to come away with a P4 here, with 25 minutes left on the clock. Let's just try and compare previous lap times. Actually, Blame is trying again to find his way past Rob Lewis, ever so close, but nothing being done just yet. Tumas's last lap was a 2:01.3. Pete Rolls was a 2:02.1, so 8 tenths quicker. And then the M Major was 2:02 dead, so 7 tenths quicker. So Tumas is really on a charge right now. And what was his time compared to Oversteer? 2:01.9. He was 6 tenths quicker than Oversteer as well. So Tumas, if he manages to make these passes cleanly, which he probably can do with the amount of pace he has, might be able to get towards third, which would be interesting and would be a great result. And he's already about a second behind Pete Roll. Blame again, closing up into braking, has a different sort of braking style compared to Rob Lewis, taking a sort of trail braking into the corner, while Rob Lewis brakes hard and then makes a sharper turn. Is that Blame does just close up ever so slightly into the braking area, but Rob gets a nice exit out of it. Tumas within a second of Pete now. And this is probably going to be the battle to watch as it starts to kick off in a moment. He's still just gaining time ever so quickly, and now he's right behind Pete. I'm not sure how much answer Pete has, as it looks like the back of his AMG was a bit damaged as well. Won't be too bad, I don't think, in terms of pace and drivability, as Blame still just fending, well, Rob Lewis fending off Blame, and Tumas less than half a second behind Pete now, as he is closes up. But now this is where the challenge starts. Now he has to find a way past the AMG of Pete. And I'd be a liar if I said it was going to be easy for him, even with the pace he has. But if he can do it within the next lap or so, he has a real chance of continuing that on towards Bien Major. But however, Bien Major is now about 4 seconds ahead of Pete, so that's going to be a bit of more of a gap to overcome. And then another about half a second to overstay, and then you have to count in the fact that Tumas does have to find a way past each of the drivers. It's going to be a strain to make it, but it's probably possible, and it's interesting to see if he can do it. But first, get past Pete Roll and into P5. Well, just behind Tom Basley, right on the tail of Matteo Pisani, as they head in towards the first corner. Nothing done just yet, though. They were sort of nose to tail coming out of the club corner, and Tom Basley taking a lot of the sausage curb there. Means that Luca is right behind him now. And Tumas side by side with Pete Roll. I just caught it in the corner of my eye. He's going to make it past pretty cleanly, I think, here, unless Pete Roll has something to say down the inside. He's thinking about it, but gets the car turned in cleanly, and that's enough for him. He doesn't need to fight Tumas off too much. It's going to affect his race a lot more than he wants it to. And that means Tumas now into P5, and he did get past within a couple of laps, so now the charge for Bien Major begins. Basley still just itching to get past Matteo Pisani in that Z4. There's such a difference in lines, though. Z3 and Beckett's Z4 going very deep into the first section, or being a bit compromised in the second, and obviously vice versa for Tom Basley in the AMG. Closes up a lot in the second section through the Beckett's. So close, but not close enough to make a move. It's got to be so frustrating just sitting there, unable to actually make the pass. Doesn't have to worry too much about Luca behind. Has a decent gap to Luca. I mean, obviously if he makes a mistake, it's probably going to bring Luca right into things and probably cost him a position, but right now he's okay. Tumas was 4 tenths quicker than Bien Major on the last lap. At the current pace, that means it's going to take 10 laps to close the gap. And that'll be about the end of the race. So, it's going to be a big ask for Tumas to do this on the current form. Or current pace, unless he can somehow find a few extra attempts so he has a chance to get past at the end. I think oversteer is out of the question, though. I don't think he'll be able to get past oversteer, even though he's currently lapping 6 tenths quicker than oversteer. He's 6 seconds. He's almost 10 seconds behind him. And there's Bien Major in between that he has to make do with. So I think P4 realistically is going to be the best Tumas can hope for in this current position. Liam as well is just currently sitting behind Rob Lewis, still unable to make a pass over there. This could just be one of those battles that ends up not really amounting to much in the end. It's just a bit of a couple jabs and thrusts every now and then, but nothing able to be stuck to the wall. Like a wet toilet paper. This freeway battle is probably the one to watch currently between Pisani, Basley and Luca. About 5 attempts separating each of them, and just look how wide Luca went there in the Ferrari at the back towards Luffield, and actually takes a bit of the grass there on the inside of Luffield. See how Tumas is getting on in terms of lap times. Three tenths faster that lap than Bien Major, so not quite cutting it, but he was 9 tenths quicker than Oversteer that lap. So, I mean, it's going to be tough for him to make up this gap. I think he needs a mistake from Bien Major, really, to give him a chance. And again, this lap. Okay, he's gone up 9 tenths quicker than Bien Major that lap. So that is a big improvement, and that is the sort of pace he needs to have. And he's gone 1.1 seconds quicker than Oversteer. So that is the pace he needs to have. Well, across the line it was 3.4 seconds to Bien Major, then another further 4.1 towards Oversteer from Bien Major. So 3.5 seconds, 15 minutes. It's going to be close, unless he keeps up this current pace and chips away 9 tenths a lap, 9 tenths a lap, 9 tenths a lap. In which case he could do it in a few laps, and that'll be, he'll have about 7 minutes to play with at the end to try and get past Bien Major. So a few laps really. And the pits are now closed, so I'm assuming everyone's taken a stop. You'd hope so. Ada currently fighting for position with team though. As they head through Luffield. This is a P13, the unlucky number for some anyway. Sure if Ada is going to be able to get past again. I think this might be one of those battles where it's sort of a bit of a stalemate with nothing able to be done. Tumas just set a personal best sector 1, an okay sector 2. He's really on a mission right now, and he's closing in again and again towards Bien Major. They conclude another lap. Bien Major, 201.9 to Tumas, 201.2, 7 tenths gained. And a gap of 2.7 seconds means just, it's going to get close. And I am relishing the thought of that. And I am relishing a good battle to end this race with. We've had a bit of a dull last 10 minutes, I think. Not too much going on, but if we get a nice battle towards the end at the front of the pack, this will be lovely. But Baz Boomer, 11 seconds ahead of Philip Samard. I'm not sure his win's in any doubt right now. Oversteer, P3, 7 seconds behind Philip Samard. I think that's probably secured. I'm not sure if we come under threat from Tumas in reality. You'd have to take something huge from Tumas to make that work. Or some sort of mistake from Oversteer once he's past Bien Major. Or rather, when Tumas is past Bien Major. Luca trying to close up towards the back of Tom Basley there, but ends up getting a little out of shape there as well through Cops. Means that that's a bit of time lost. And what could have been a chance to try and force an error from Tom coming into the Maggots and Beckett's complex. Again, everything is sort of just holding as it is currently. Nothing really to shout about, but you know what I do like shouting about? Fastest laps from Tumas Totella. I was going to talk about some Nutella, but Totella's just as good. A 201.031 means that that is blind for the lap, and that is 9 times quicker than Bien Major. And that is a good another chunk of time gained. 1.8 seconds now, the difference. And actually, he was 1.7 seconds quicker than Oversteer as well that lap. So the gap just keeps on falling right now. He's 5 seconds behind Oversteer. 1.8 behind Bien Major crossing the line. This is gonna be exciting. I hope you're strapped in, because I'm gonna certainly strap myself in right now to my gaming chair, which definitely helps me cast. But this is going to be an exciting end, and please, I don't want anyone to mess this up. I just want something good. But there's a lot of action now between Team Lubshinsky and Ada. There's a freeway battle, and I'm going to have to switch off pretty soon as Tumas is closing in on Bien Major. But Ada, side by side with Glubshinsky. Ada's got the position for P13. And I think that battle's sorted itself out. Ada coming out on top. Team falling behind, and that was one of the battles I was saying probably wasn't going to amount to much. And it does in the end, and how wrong I was. Do just catch the last glimmers of it there as they fight through Brooklands and Luffield. Team is actually under a bit of threat from Oscar Pink as well, who's closing in that bright AMG. You certainly can't miss it. Not sure if Oscar is close enough to try anything. Ooh, he wasn't, but a little bit wide from Team means that Oscar right on the tail. This could be a position change as well. Tumas sets another 201.4, 202.1 for Bien Major, and a 201, and well, actually the same time for Oversteer as well. Means that Tumas cuts another 7 seconds out of the lead. Just a second between them as they cross the line. And we will be cutting to that one pretty sharpish, as Luca is side by side with Tom Basley through Brooklands and Luffield. Just not able to get past though in the end. And now here we are, Tumas chasing that AMG. Bien Major has been reeled in by Tumas for the last 5 or so laps. 8 minutes on the clock, as I sort of predicted. Has about 5 to 7 minutes to fight for this position. Once he actually is sort of closes this last section of the gap. Oh, Jesus, he's closing in so much. And I hope you're as excited as I am for this. Can't get my words out right now. Bumper to splitter. Bumper to bumper is probably what I should have said. which works just as well. And Tumas took another 8 tenths out of Tumas. Sorry, Tumas took another 8 tenths out of Bien Major that lap. And as you can see, this is the result. Nose to tail, and Tumas got 4 or so laps to fight for. He's right behind the AMG. You can hardly see him, but Bien Major does jerk his way to the inside of the track, revealing the Porsche behind. And he's defending the inside line, but Tumas trying. He can't quite get past Tumas. Unable to get his nose around the outside. He's going to try again towards Luffield. Can't get it done. Bien Major defending his line so well, but the Porsche just has so much pace. It's right behind this AMG as they head towards Copse, and Bien Major taking the inside line. This is going to give Tumas a line towards the outside. It is, but he's not going to be able to use it. He's still just oh so close behind, and he's going to jerk into inside as they head towards Maggots now. Has the inside line, and they're going to make contact. No, they're not. He do keep it clean. But Tumas again unable to get past. He pulls alongside, but Bien Major, that AMG, holds strong. Tumas just getting up on the grass a little bit there. That'll compromise his exit. That'll maybe mean that Bien Major is just safe for one more corner. This fight for 4th position. 6 minutes on the clock. Tumas, as you can see, just falling back a little bit after that run across the edge of the grass. But now Tumas, he's back on the offensive, getting a good run out of club. Not close enough just yet. Going to try and close up during the remainder of this lap and probably attempt something in the similar area towards Brooklands and Luffield. Probably his best bets right now. Get a good exit through this loop and village section as they head into the loop now. He's right on the tail, and he has a good exit as well. Porsche just puts the power down so well. He's over on the grass, and that's compromised his exit. Bien Major, maybe a little bit slower than Tumas was expecting, catches him out. But Bien Major still holding on to that position. And Tumas, oh, he's sliding ever so slightly. That's compromised him a lot. But he does get a decent exit out of the corner to compensate for it. And now they head towards Copse. Nothing going to be able to be done here by the Porsche driver. This is Bien Major safe for a little bit longer. One more lap, probably, before Tumas comes at him once again. It's interesting to see how the two cars are stacking up against each other. Porsche just gaining so much time through that first sector, giving it the chance to attack. But Bien Major has held steady every single time. 4 minutes now, a couple more laps to go. Baz Boomer just started the 37th lap. Probably means two laps probably will cross the line just after the time stops. See if Tumas can close up again in towards the village. Under braking right up the chuffer of Bien Major. He's going to try a bit of a different strategy this time. Gets a good exit. Bien Major struggling. And Tumas, is he going to make it around the outside? He's up on towards the AstroTurf. Bien Major, I think he's going to have to concede this time unless he can hold the inside line. Tumas on the outside in towards Brooklands. They're side by side and they're going to touch. I think there's ever so slight bit of a touch, but they're still going, and Tumas on the inside, he touched again. Tumas just forces his way through this time. He's had enough and he makes it work through Luffield. And that is Tumas now taking the 4th position. And I don't think there's enough time. No, 5.5 seconds till Oversteer in front of him, and a bit of a lovely battle there erupting between these two. Said Oversteer will be safe for the remainder of this race, barring any mistakes, that is. And I think that is our deed of excitement done for today. Or for this race, maybe. Blame, though, still trying to hassle Rob Lewis. I think I said Rod there by accident. Definitely not a Rod. Steal Rod Lewis. Rod the Steel Lewis. I don't know what I'm on about anymore. Blame still on his tail, and Luca as well on the tail of Tom Basley. It seems like these AMGs are just so good at holding their positions, but Luca is alongside down the hanger straight. Does he have the speed to go around the outside? He's trying it, a bit squirrely under the braking there. Cannot hold it, but Tom Basley just swings his way out wide, completely shutting down Luca's route there. The avenue of attack is closed, and it's going to be Tom Basley holding the position for another lap. Probably the last lap now. Just behind them, Blame as well, trying to find his way past Rob Lewis for the final position of the top 10. The coveted P10. Luca just trying his eye in towards the village. Has the inside line as they head into the loop, and this might be his chance, but he's very hard on the brakes and gives Tom Basley all the space he needs. Blame as well, unable to find his way past, but he's right on the back of Rob Lewis right now. Ooh, ever so slightly alongside as they head in towards Brooklands. Side by side, Blame around the outside, just like Tumas did a few laps earlier, and it looks like Lucas had a bit of an issue as he's dropped far behind Tom Basley and is now in the clutches of Blame, who might be able to secure another position and move himself into P9, but he has found his way past Rob Lewis as well. So that's P10 for him, and quite possibly P9 in his grasp if he can do it in the end of this lap. 20 seconds left. Baz Boomer coming through the final sector. Is he going to do another lap? I think he might just do another lap. Team set fastest lap of the race, though. Or is Baz going to slow down? He's not. He's going to go on to another lap, it looks like. We're going to have one more lap of racing as Baz crosses the line. And Blame, currently P10. Can he make his way into P9? Luca's going to have to defend hard. Although he has got a bit of time difference between them. 1.5 laps to go as they head down the hanger straight for these guys. Rob Lewis trying a little bit to attack Blame again. Not sure he's going to be able to make it work though, but he is pretty close. Closer than Blame is to Luca anyway. Blame. That black Ferrari looks so menacing as he hounds towards Luca as he head onto the final lap now. Can he do anything to find his way past? This is his last chance, his last lap. Where can he do it? He can probably try into Brooklands, maybe Cops. Maybe towards the end of the lap at the end of the hanger straight. Just clipping a slight wheel over the edge of the curb there, just to settle the car slightly, but he's still within a shout of passing Luca right now. Gets so close under braking, right up the chuffer of the Ferrari, smelling the exhaust fumes. And Baz Boom are going to be coming into the final section of corners any second now. This battle will rage on for the time being. Baz coming out the final corner. I get the right camera angle. There he is, crossing the line. Philip Samard in second position. Baz Boomer wins. Oversteer will be coming across the line momentarily. There he is. Tumas not far behind as well. There's a couple back markers cross the line. There is Tumas. And that will be the top 4 and 5. As Bien Major will cross the line as well. We come back to this battle, Luca. Looks like he's going to be safe from blame as he tries another bit of a lunge there, but I think that's just more blame's line through that corner. But it looks like it will be Luca holding on to position and Tom Basley as well. As he cross the line, almost nose to tail there. Luca trying to outdrag the Mercedes, but it's not going to work. And Luca will hold on to P9. Baz Boomer gets a bit of a ram up his backside. Shinsky's going to come home in 13th, leading Oscar behind him. Adder as well, P15. He had such a good start, was P5, I think, after the first set of corners. And then ended up losing a lot of time. And Yanni Sari could be the final one to cross the line. However, not the final one in the positions, just the way when the leader crosses the line that matters. He will come home in 17th position, team in 18th, and Pazin Malanen in 19th. And that will be the finishing grid for the race. And we're going to try the race results. They don't usually work, but maybe this will be the time they do. You never know. Are they going to work? No, they're not. That is disappointing. So we're just going to go straight to the end of show. Never mind, that was definitely the wrong button. I did not mean to press that one. That was the wrong end of show button. It's top quality production here. I'm sorry if things went a little bit wrong during the stream. I am on my own. I'm having to talk all the time. I usually do have Weck here to fill the silence and provide all of the information side of things, where I manage the hype. And I think we should go for some interviews as the screen fades down. Yeah. I've tried my best. I am on my own, managing the cameras, the stream, the comments, the talking as well. So hopefully I did all right for you guys. And if any of you feel like joining me on the in sound, I guess you should call it, and you feel like joining me in the commentary, feel free to. Just send me a message before races. I'm sure we can sort something out. Maybe a 3-man cast if Weck is around again. Anyway, should we go for some interviews? Let's try and grab Baz. See if Baz is available. Obviously the race winner. Let's drag him in. Hello, Baz. Is he there? He may not even be there. Oh, hello. There. Very quiet. I'll take it a bit. Yeah, I hear you. Hello. How was that race for you? Because I mean, I'm not great at interviews, but it looked pretty easy. Not gonna lie. After you got that early lead, P2 on the inside. A blessing, I guess.
First half of the first stint, and but yeah, I have raced him before here on Silverstone, and I knew his tricks. This time I wasn't gonna fall for it, and yeah, I was able to keep ahead because the difference wasn't big enough. And then second half of the stint, I was just faster because his tires were gone.
Yeah. I mean, I've just realised
It's all right.
It's usually so smooth. Right. I think we're all right now. I think. Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna say we're all right. sorry, where were we? So yeah, so you were on mediums. He was on soft. It seemed like
Mediums,
at the
yeah.
end, towards the end of those stints, he did drop off quite a lot because I think it was sort of 1.5 seconds for most of the stint between you two on the first half of the race, and then it sort of extended out towards I think 5-6 seconds before the pit stops came in.
Yeah, I think it was about between half second and a second in the first half, and then it was 6 seconds I think when I pitted, something like that. And then the second stint, same thing. We were pretty equal in the beginning. He was a bit faster, and then dropped off a lot. Yeah, I mean whatever.
Yeah.
It's just I was a bit lucky with the temperatures, to be honest. He could, the AMGs couldn't get the mediums to work, so yeah.
I was thinking
But I
quite a
don't
lot of
mind.
cars may have been overheating the softs actually, which is and made the mediums more viable.
Yeah, for me that was the case, absolutely. Even in quali, softs were no option for me. The Audi is quite heavy on the tires. Same for the Porsche, I think. Maybe the Ferrari as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Thomas had a pretty bad qualifying. His pace was really good. I saw him set a fast lap in the race, but something happened maybe in the first lap as well.
Yeah, he qualified 6th, got punted off in the first corner, ended up at the back of the grid, like completely.
Oh, wow.
After coming out of, I think it was coming out of the loop, he was basically last. Ended up in the gravel at the exit of the first corner. I don't remember who actually did it because obviously there was a lot of cars, and I just saw the Porsche being spun wide. So that'll be probably investigated after the race. So, but he was on he was on a really, obviously really good pace, set those quickest laps, and hunted down a lot of those the sort of final drivers towards the end there. Taking down, well, I don't say taking down, but getting past BM Major towards the end, the final few laps. So that was a great battle to watch. So yeah, that's what happened for him. I might try and get an interview with him as well and find out what happened in the first corner. But
also qualifying. I'm really curious. So
I think people are just struggling to actually improve the times in qualifying. It seemed like nobody was able to do that after about 15 minutes.
Oh.
Apart from
I think I did.
Phillips though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, just a bunch of noobs, right? Kidding.
You said it, not me.
No, I didn't say anything.
Yeah, the start of the season's going pretty well for you then. Obviously second at Monza, I think, was provisional anyway, and then there was some penalties added, I think.
Yeah, Phil, went over a white line, which he sometimes does, and then I took the win. But first race was horrid, but one race drops, so yeah, it's good. I don't know. I kind of went into the season, maybe I'll do a couple of races, and then, but now it's going all right. So who knows?
Oh, it turns out I'm pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wish you luck for the rest of the season. I mean, it's great watching you race. Not so much just with you sat at the front of the field. They try and put the camera on you a few times, but there was stuff going on elsewhere. So I hope you don't hate me for that.
Fair enough. No, not at all. Yeah. No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, good. Well done, and I'll see you at the next race, I guess.
Probably. All right. Thanks. Bye.
I've just noticed that Tumas is not about at all in the voice channel, so that's not going to be possible to bring him in. No one else from Split 1 apart from Oversteer, so maybe we should talk to Oversteer, because I didn't see him much during the race, to be fair. Let's bring him in, see what he's about. Hello, Oversteer? Are you there?
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, you're very quiet as well. Let me turn you up. There, can you speak now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we are. Okay, pretty good race from you, overall. I think you were P3, weren't you, in the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really see much of you during that race, in honesty. It seemed like it was pretty quiet for you. Did you sort of get up to much at all? Or...
To be honest, I kind of arrived late to the race. I went on quali with only 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
I only got one lap in, so it was P4, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this race today. And overall, just never had the pace to keep it up with Phil and Baz.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of qualifying, I was sort of tracking all the times and stuff, and it was just like I sort of just saw you appear on at the top of the tables of qualifying. I was just like, well, that's come out of nowhere, and I guess that explains it. Um, but Tumas was on a bit of a tear towards the end of that race as well. Um, were you sort of? I know. There's quite about 5 seconds between you at the end. But were you sort of considering him as sort of a threat towards the end, or was it just like he was so far behind that it was not really an issue? You were just driving your own race.
No, I had pace to keep it up
Yeah,
with him. He was a little bit faster, but not enough to catch me. So I was just managing my race. On the last lap, I actually did my best lap. I saved
yeah,
the tire a little bit and just have some fun. But I'm not sure if you watched that on the start of the race on turn one.
yeah,
Thomas got a mega start, and we were side by side. I was on the inside, and unfortunately, I got loose there
yeah,
and just overcorrected on Thomas. I'm not sure what happened to him, if he spun or not, but I saw that he was way back down the order. So yeah, it was a shame. I apologize to him. Of course, not intentional, but
yeah.
shit happens.
Yeah, I did see that, but in the mess of cars at the start, I didn't see who actually made contact with Tumas. Well, that clears that up. But yeah, he did end up spinning into the gravel and actually had a very strong comeback in the race. He was dead last at the end of the first lap. And basically, yeah, fought all the way
Oh,
back
that's
to
impressive.
fourth. Yeah, he had a really strong pace throughout the race and made some nice overtakes as well. Um, but more on you. Um, you've I can't remember. Did you race at Monza? I can't.
What?
Did you race at the last race in Monza? My memory's failing me right now.
Oh no, no,
No, you
no! I
didn't.
didn't race there.
Yeah. Okay. That screwed up that question then. But
Actually, I only raced on the first race of the season, and I
yeah,
didn't even make to second corner. So this was actually my first race
yeah,
of this GT3 season.
yeah. Because I remember you was it at VIR the test race.
Yeah, I was there.
You had strong pace there as well, I think.
Well, I was driving the GTR, so
Ah, of course.
it's way better to drive. I'm
Yeah.
just driving this Mercedes because Tom said so. He thinks it's the best car for him. So I was like, okay, we are a team, so
You just had to
let's
give in.
take this. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not doing the whole season anyway. GT3s are usually very boring, as you could
Okay.
see in this race.
Yeah.
Not real battles over the track, just people cruising. And it's a lot about the setup, this car, you know. Like driving doesn't really make that much of a difference. So it's not like something I'm very excited about during the entire season.
Yeah. Well, it's fun having you here around. Hopefully, next race it'll be a bit more interesting for you because I feel like you were sort of on your own for most of the race, but a good result either way, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, good luck for the races you do have in the rest of the season. I'll let you get back to the rest of your evening.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the stream, by the way. Good
No
job.
worries. No worries. See ya.
All right. Bye.
Bye. And I wonder, Tumas is there now. So, and I've just been added saying that Tumas should join the channel. So, I'm guessing he wants to speak to us. Let's have a talk with him about that a great comeback. Hello, Tumas.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing? So, in that first corner, uh, just found out it was Oversteer who you made contact with, I think. And then you've ended up on a bit of a charge afterwards and put up some nice overtakes, and it was fun to follow you through the race. Seemed like you had good pace. So, do you think that had that incident not happened in the first corner, you would have been able to sort of challenge for the lead, maybe, or like sort of at least fight with podium positions?
Podium definitely, but I don't know how fast the top guys were here.
Yeah.
I didn't see the lap times yet, so
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, you did set
it
a
felt fast.
yeah, you set a fastest lap of the session sort of towards the end as you were chasing Bien Major, I think, which was very, very quick, and you had a lot of pace coming through the field, which was impressive, and it was fun watching your battles, definitely. Obviously, a decent start to the season so far. Do you think that the Porsche can keep this sort of pace up and keep fighting for podiums, or are you expecting sort of tougher races to come?
Well, I really don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, before the season, I thought it would be a pretty bad car, but
Yeah.
I haven't really had as much issues as I thought it might have.
Yeah.
So at least I'm fast enough that even if the car isn't quite as fast as the others, I can still fight.
Yeah. Just imagine if you'd been in one of the AMGs or something. Could have been just race after race win. But I
Possibly.
mean, it has been very strong though. In the first few races, obviously Red Bull Ring, the Porsches completely sort of dominated that one. But yeah, I don't know. What's the next race actually? I can't remember what the next track is. But
Spa is next.
Spa, okay. Good that you know. So you don't know, you sort of don't know if it's going to be a good track or not then, for the Porsches.
I mean, the temps will pretty much decide how strong the car will be.
Okay.
But still, I don't think it should be bad. It has so much downforce still, and the top speed isn't that bad. It should be okay.
Okay, so it's sort of like you don't know until you sort of get on the pre-quali servers how strong it's going to be then, with like all the temperatures and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, congratulations on that comeback, though. Very, very impressive. A lot of good pace and some great overtaking. I'll let you get back to your evening now, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Yep. Thanks for broadcasting.
No worries, it's my pleasure. See ya.
See ya.
Well, that's a few interviews done, and it doesn't seem like there's anyone else who wants to have a little talk with me. So, thanks for joining me. Hopefully, it's been a bit of a interesting race. Sorry about a few technical hiccups at the end there and whatnot. As I said, I am trying to multitask a lot. It's one of those things that just happens, and hopefully you'll forgive me for it. I mean, I wouldn't forgive myself for it, but I'll let you decide. So yeah, as Tuma said, the next round will be Spa, and I hope to see you all there as well, and maybe Weck will be back so that this isn't as much of a shambles as it was today, so I can focus on other things apart from not messing things up. But thanks for bearing with me, and hopefully I was a bit of an entertainment along with the racing. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.